welcome to the deep dive. Okay, picture this. A quiet street, maybe like yours. A neighbor you see, wave to. Seems normal. But behind that door, something truly awful is hidden. That's what we're exploring today, the Cleveland Abductions. It's a case that just rocked the U.S. back in the early 2000s. This man, seemingly ordinary, held 3 young women captive for over a decade, right next door to everyone.
It really is a story that makes you question everything, doesn't it? How well do we really know the people around us? So our goal here is to unpack how Ariel Castro, who became known as the kidnapper next door, how he kept these terrible secrets for so long. We'll look at what the victims went through, their incredible escape, and, well, everything that happened after. The psychological toll, the way society reacted.
And the question that hits you immediately is just how? How does a, quote, shy school bus driver and father of 3 do something like this? He seemed harmless, people said he was friendly, went to community things, and yet he was running this fortress of abuse in his own home. It makes you think, maybe our idea of normal can sometimes blind us.
That's a really key point. People like Castro, they almost weaponize that sense of familiarity. We see someone quiet, reliable, and we tend to think trustworthy. Our communities aren't always set up to spot evil when it's wearing a friendly mask. And publicly. Castro's exactly that. School bus driver, dad, paid his bills, seemed fine. Just blended right in.
Yeah, it's that massive difference between the public face and the private horror. That's what's so deeply unsettling. Behind closed doors, these monstrous secrets. And, it wasn't completely out of nowhere if you look closer. There were accusations before, right? Domestic violence, things. They never stuck, legally speaking, but they were there. Hence of that violent side.
Exactly. Those earlier incidents, in hindsight, they paint a picture of an escalating pattern. A really chilling one. And that pattern, unfortunately, led straight to the abductions of Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Gina DeJesus. 3 young women caught in this nightmare.
Let's talk about them, because their stories are central to this. Michelle Knight was 21. She disappeared August 22, 2002. Then Amanda Berry, she was taken April 21, 2003, just days before she turned 17. And Gina DeJesus, only 14 years old, vanished on April 2, 2004. What was Castro's method? How did he get them?
It was disturbingly simple, really. He preyed on their trust. The sources say he used the promise of a safe ride or meeting a friend, just offered a lift, maybe said he knew their family, something like that, pulled them into his car and then into that house.
That house, 2207 Seymour Avenue, just a regular house on a regular street. But inside, he turned it into a prison. What did he actually do to the house?
Oh, it was deliberate, very deliberate. He physically changed things, padlocks on doors, but from the outside, boarded up windows, basically made it impossible to see in or get out easily, discouraged anyone from even coming near the place. But it wasn't just the physical stuff. The psychological control, the isolation, that was maybe even worse.
What were the conditions like inside?
Horrific. They were often kept chained. In dark rooms, fed very little, maybe 1 meal a day. Showers were rare, and then there was the constant abuse. Physical, sexual, forced pregnancies, miscarriages. It's almost too much to comprehend.
Just brutal. And we know a lot of this detail because they found diaries, didn't they? That must have been incredibly hard evidence.
Yes, the diaries were crucial. They revealed, and I'm quoting here, unthinkable suffering. They lived in constant fear chains, heavy locks, beatings, and a living nightmare that lasted nearly 11 years. 11 years, imagine. Unthinkable suffering really sums it up. But even in that darkness, something shifted. Courage emerged.
Amanda Berry. That moment on May 6th, 2013. Tell us what happened.
Right, it was this incredibly brave moment. She saw a chance, a rare opportunity, as the sources put it. Castro had messed up. He'd failed to lock the internal door. One mistake. After all those years, Amanda forced her way through another door, got outside, somehow got the attention of a neighbor, Charles Ramsey, started screaming for help.
And Ramsey heard her.
He did. He and some others didn't hesitate. They helped her break down the door further, they got her out, and crucially, her 6-year-old daughter, who was born while Amanda was captive. And then they found Michelle and Gina inside too, rescued them all. Just like that. After almost 11 years, it was all over.
Wow. Just wow. The relief must have been immense. But also the shock for the neighborhood, the city. The public reaction was immediate, right? Outrage. Castro was arrested the same day.
Instantly. And when the police searched that house, they found the chains, the confinement areas. It confirmed everything the women were saying. The horror was real. Legally, things moved fast. Castro ended up pleading guilty to, I think it was, 937 counts. Kidnapping, rape, assault, even aggravated murder related to the forced miscarriage.
And the sentence reflected that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Life in prison plus 1,000 years, no chance of parole. That was August 2013.
But that wasn't the end of Castro's story. He died not long after, didn't he?
Yeah, less than a month later. September 2013, he committed suicide in his prison cell, which of course brought up a whole new set of questions about prison safety, monitoring. Apparently, guards were supposed to check on him every 30 minutes, so how did it happen? It led to reviews, investigations into the prison system itself.
While Castro's story ended, for the survivors, the journey was really just beginning in a different way. The trauma doesn't just vanish with freedom.
Not at all. It lingers. Michelle Knight, who now goes by Lily Rose Lee, she spoke about how everyday things, certain smells like bacon grease or cologne, could just instantly pull her back into that horror. It shows how deep those psychological wounds go.
It's unimaginable. But alongside that trauma, there's also this incredible story of strength, isn't there? Remarkable resilience is the phrase used.
Truly remarkable. Michelle, or Lily, her journey has been particularly public, finding the strength to actually forgive Castro, which is astounding. And then writing her memoir, Finding Me. It became a bestseller in 2014. Sharing her story, reclaiming her life, it's incredibly powerful.
It really is.
Yeah.
And their survival, their stories, they pushed for bigger conversations too, didn't they?
Definitely. The whole case became this catalyst, a rallying point, you could say. People started talking more openly about domestic abuse, about how we oversee potential criminals living among us, and just the need for community vigilance, paying attention.
And the victims themselves spoke out.
Yes, they advocated for better protections for people who might be vulnerable. The public was horrified, naturally, even Castro's own family. His daughter actually apologized publicly to Gina DeCases. She said, "I'm so sorry for everything. That must have been incredibly difficult."
That apology from his own daughter, it just underscores the layers of shock and betrayal felt by everyone, even those closest to him. So looking back at this deep dive, the Cleveland Abductions, they really show us starkly the darkest potential behind an ordinary facade. But they also highlight the unbelievable courage, the solidarity of Michelle, Amanda, and Gina, surviving years of that terror. Their escape wasn't just about hope, it sparked this vital demand for accountability from police, from neighbors, from all of us, really.
Absolutely. And it leaves us with this thought. The scars from something like this, they obviously remain. They have to. But as the source material reminds us, so does the power of survival. So maybe the question for you listening is, what role does community vigilance really play? How much can we actually do to prevent these hidden horrors? And are there lessons here about our responsibility to each other, even to the quiet neighbor next door?